ostomies, ileostomies, any gastrointestinal issues. The purpose of my channel is to have a platform where we can inspire, teach each other, support each other through these difficult times and through different and difficult experiences that we're having in our lives. The purpose of today's episode, I wanted to focus on van life. I currently live out of my van and travel a lot. And currently I'm in Arizona. There are a lot of tips and tricks, a lot of different products that are needed for this lifestyle if you're going to live and travel, whether it's a month or 2 months, or for me, like I said, it's been 2 years that I've been living in my van. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So I have some notes, so don't mind me looking down at my notes. I will need to do that from time to time. But the first thing first is a toilet. So if you don't have an ostomy or an ileostomy, a colostomy or an ileostomy, you will need a toilet for sure. I think everybody actually needs a toilet. It doesn't matter. For several purposes, for safety reasons, for, when the virus started, there were a lot of bathrooms shut down. When I was traveling from Minnesota to California, there were many bathrooms I couldn't even stop and use. So having a toilet, very important. Even with an ostomy, it's very important. And because you still have to use the bathroom like anybody else, you have to still urinate. So I have, and I'll just show you quickly, I have this Coleman, let me flip the camera or figure out how to flip the camera. Okay, maybe I can't flip the camera now. So this is my Coleman toilet. The lid comes up, the toilet paper sits there, and that's the seat. That is very important. And like I said, it's not just safety, but it's important to have because, over time, especially as women, we need to urinate more frequently. Depending where you are, I spent 2 months in Pasadena and, living incognito was difficult, but I was able to do it with this because I didn't have to get out and use the bathroom. I was able to, park on the city streets or park at parking lots and then use my toilet. I couldn't imagine not having it. So yeah, that's number one is having a toilet. The other thing on that note of using the bathroom, having an ostomy is kind of a blessing in disguise when it comes to van life, because I don't have to do number 2 in this toilet, so I don't ever have to clean it the way I would have to clean it if I went number 2. Getting rid of it's a lot easier. Currently, I am on state land, which is kind of like BLM land, and I'm hoping you can kind of see. I could literally put my toilet right out here if I wanted to and go to the bathroom. But dumping it so much easier than if I had went number 2. So blessing in disguise, actually. Okay. 2, I have this bag here that I keep all my stuff in. So what I do is I keep all my colostomy supplies in here. My bags, flanges, all that. Keep them in here. That way when I need to use this, I can just pull it out and go to the bathroom. Also, it serves as a purpose to, keep everything organized and have everything here. I hang it back here, if you can see, and then that way it's just easy to grab. The other thing is having enough supplies. So, it depends what kind of vehicle you're in. I'm in a 1991 Vanagon, a Volkswagen, so it's not very big. Living space, clearly kind of tight quarters. As you can see, I have pillows, I have my clothes, just stuff on the side of where I sleep. So there's not a lot of room. I keep my toilet and some other stuff kind of underneath. I keep my seat down for the most part. It's because that's my bed. I can put it up. But point being, there's not a lot of room. But I keep this, and I have to get out of the van to show you. But I keep this Cargo Smart. It's by Cargo Smart. I highly recommend it. I bought it at Walmart for about $100, and I keep a couple boxes of supplies up there, and it serves as a good storage. Now, when I was in Pasadena, though, I did get a storage because my intentions were a little bit different. Van life wasn't supposed to be a 2-year-long thing at this point, but it's just kind of worked out that way, and that's fine. But in the city, wherever you're at, city, real big cities, it's going to be harder to keep your stuff up there because you are going to be needing to get out, leave your van. You never know. Somebody might be curious as to what's up there. We all know that our supplies are expensive. They're hard to get. Good luck trying to get more. So you want to keep backup. What I started doing is when I knew I was going to go down the road, I made sure I ordered as many supplies as my insurance company would give me. So even if I knew I wasn't going to use them, I ordered them and I stored them away. Eventually, and I just kept doing that. I kept doing it, and I do it every month. And I have a good supply that if something happened, I'm able to have tons of backup. Very important. I keep a couple boxes back home with my daughter, and then I keep a couple boxes worth of supplies here on top of my van. So because I'm out here on state land, close to I'm between Cottonwood and Sedona right now, and I was in Quartzsite for a couple months, I can keep my stuff all up here. I mean, it's an area where there's sometimes a lot of people, but not nearly. It's not like living in the city. You can trust people for the most part. I mean, you have to discern at that point, but for me, I've never had a problem. So have enough supplies, have a bag, something to keep your stuff in down here, and then whether you store stuff, maybe you have a bus, you store it underneath, just so you're not having to dig and get stuff out. Have enough inside, but have enough stored and put somewhere. The other thing is this Ozark showering tent. So I don't currently have it up because it did break. Now I've used it one other time and one of the rods broke from being in the desert. This was actually over a year ago. I kind of fixed it and then it broke again. And so I kept it, hoping I can just order maybe one rod for it. But point being, it's like a stand-up shower and you can go inside. You can put your toilet in there if you wanted, if you're camping off-grid like I am right now. You can put your toilet in there. You can actually hang a solar shower and then shower there. But it's nice. It's personal. I have blacked out my windows with a fabric just because I'm not using that because it broke. But it is a really nice thing to have, especially if you can't stand up in your vehicle. Like me, it's a little too short. For me, it's just a little too short. I don't have a pop-up top on this one. So standing up, that makes it a little more difficult. When I get really bad pains, I can go in there and do what I have to do when I'm going through an episode, a Crohn's episode. And then I can change my bag in there as well. Also, you can leave that smell behind and not bring it in your van. But in worst case scenario, you do it in here and it works just fine too. All right, so showering. Obviously, with anything, I like to always change my appliance after I get it nice and wet in the shower, and it helps get it off easier. So showering is obviously difficult if you don't have a vehicle that you have a shower in. So, like I said, that stand-up shower you can use. if you're camping off grid. If you're camping in the city, I have a Planet Fitness membership. I use that. When I was in Quartzsite, I did both. I did the stand-up shower, and I did not a Planet Fitness because they didn't have one, but I did a truck stops. A little expensive, but I also only showered once a week. And then I showered in my stand-up shower the other couple days, every few days, or I boil water and I wash up. So you just make do when you're living nomad life or van life. Like, you just kind of make do, and it works out. Okay, having enough supplies. I went over that. Yeah, you could always have somebody mail you your box. If you have a P.O. box, your supplies are going to a P.O. box, you could always have somebody mail that to you. That was just a side note. Was there anything else I wanted to point? So this is just kind of like a few things, most important things. Supplies, bathroom, and showering. Kind of the main things. I think I'm going to make another video some other time talking about like food and what I eat and how I eat and how I other things that I do living in my van. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Van life in itself isn't easy. So to think about having a disease and having a colostomy bag, sure. I mean, like I said, it can make things easier, but it can make things a little more difficult sometimes. I am hopefully one day going to be getting a bigger vehicle, so something I can stand up in, because that is one of my triggering effects with my Crohn's disease, is not being able to stand. When I'm getting a flare-up and things are happening for me, I need to be able to stand. So that's one thing to think about if you're thinking about van life and you have a colostomy or you have Crohn's or anything like that. Those are some things to think about. But what I mostly want to say to my listeners is, like, I don't care what disease you have. I mean, obviously there's some things that you just can't do this with, live van life, but a lot of things and most things you can. I've met people on the way who are doing dialysis on their own inside their van. So it can happen. It can. And you can do it with Crohn's disease. You can do it with ostomies. You can. If you want it and you want to live a life that's, you get to wake up and see this, I mean, these views and the beauty and the nature, and you can do it. You can do it. You need to live your life for you, and I just hope that anybody who thinks that they can't rethinks that, because until you go out and actually do it, do you realize that you can do it? You know, we can tell ourselves all day, oh, that's easy, that's easy, that's easy. And it is sometimes it's really not. And that's not even to get into the points of like financially and, which is another issue, but I did it on not like almost no money at all, and I was able to put this together. So yeah, I just I'm gonna make more videos on van life and what it's like to live in a van, and more tips and tricks. These are just like the basics that I wanted to get out. And yeah, stay in touch and comment below. You can subscribe if you want to get the notifications when these videos pop up. I'm trying to get more diligent about making them more often. It's hard for me. I don't know anything about this. I don't know much about editing videos and doing any of this stuff. But yeah, I'll give you more tips and tricks and products that I suggest and things to make this a little bit easier, so that if you decide to go do it, which I hope so, I hope you do, especially young women out there. Like, I do this a lot by myself. I travel alone most of the time. So yeah, that was it. That's all I want to say. And stay in touch for my next video. I'm probably thinking it's going to be along the lines of either mental health and Crohn's disease, or sex and Crohn's disease and relationships and that kind of thing. Yeah, stay in touch. I'll see you soon. Bye.